Everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the mate to this earring, and this earring is using some of the beads from Beading School Academy, the Rosetta Window Academy box, and I love the colors. They're so pretty, and what's so pretty about this earring is, well, front and back looks beautiful, and when you wear it, I put it on, and when I wear it and my hair is up, or you have short hair, the sun shines through and it looks like a little rose window. So I'm really happy with how it came out, and I put out the beads that I'm going to use to make this, and I'm always amazed when I put some beads out, and this is actually more than I need to make the earring. When I put these little beads out and I think, gee, that little bit, that's going to make this. And I think that's what keeps me beading, is that I'm so amazed that we can take just these, just a handful of beads and come out with some really pretty designs. All right, so let's get started. I just wanted to show you this before we start. So the Beading School has a new Dangerous Fuchsia bag, and it includes 8 beautiful metallic ice colors of 3mm fire polish beads with 8 matching colors in 4mm fire polish beads. So you're getting 1,280 beads, and it comes in this bag. I'm not going to pull them all out, but look at these gorgeous colors. They're stunning. I did pull out, one of the colors just to show you what the metallic ice looks like, and it's stunning. Look at that cranberry color. So that's really pretty. So check their website. I will put a link in the description box below the video so you can take a look at that, as well as, a link to the Academy boxes and their website and such. But check these out. They're absolutely stunning. Those of you who saw my unboxing of Erica's signature box for 2025, I did not have the cabochons to show you at that time. So depending on which option you choose, you get either 1 or I believe 3 cabochons. You'll check on the website. I'll link to this as well, but I just wanted to show you how absolutely stunning these cabochons are. Look at the design on that. They are so beautiful. Thank you so much, Beading School, for sending these to me. They're gorgeous. I can't wait to use them. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So we've got some wide duos, some 4mm fire polish, some 2mm round beads. I've got a little stop bead there. And all of these beads, except the only thing that is not from the Rosetta Window Academy box, are the ear wires, because there are ear wires in there. They're posts, but I just couldn't get them to work with this particular earring, so I'm just going to save those for another earring. So here we've got some slender bugles, a 15-0 in a color, a 15-0 in a metallic. We've got a Delica 11-0. I've got a little puff here with a bunch of needles, and I've got Fireline thermally fused tough. I use the I love this stuff, and I'm using it in smoke. It's 6 pound. And did I say stop bead? So I think, oh wait, we've got our chatons. Can't forget those. So then you've got a couple of the chatons. These are gorgeous. They're Preciosa. They're called Deep Sea, and they're not foiled. They're just stunning. So they look beautiful coming and going because you're not foiled here. You see that? I love it. All right, so let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to leave my little pile in the corner and see what I have left when I'm done with the earring. I pulled out just about everything I used to make the earring, just maybe a few extra seed beads are in there. All right, so here we go. We're going to thread our needle with about 40 inches of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave a tail to sew in. So I picked up and dropped down to my stop bead, 3 11-0s and a 4mm fire polish, and I did that 4 times. I'm going to sew these into a circle by sewing through the first beads after my stop bead. So like so. So I'm going through the 11-0s that are right there. And I'm just going to reinforce by sewing through all the beads again. Okay, so I've reinforced, I've come all the way around. I came past where my stop bead is, and I went through a few beads, and I'm exiting the center bead of a group of the 3 11-0s. It doesn't matter which one, just you want to come out of the center 11-0. I'm going to pick up 4 15-0s, and I'm exiting the center 11-0 right here. I'm going to just hop over to that next group of 3 11-0s, and I'm going to sew through the center bead right there. I'll do that again, exiting the middle 11-0. I'm just going to hop over to the next group of 3 and sew through, picking up 4 15-0s, sew through that center bead. This is what it looks like so far. So you're gonna repeat that 2 more times. Last group of 4 15-0s, exiting this 11-0. I'm just going to hop over to that middle 11-0, that next middle 11-0 of the group of 3. So we're going to be back where we started from. Put it in a little, kind of push it into shape a little bit, and this is what we have. Okay, so I'm exiting that middle 11-0. I'm going to advance my needle through the next 11-0 and the fire polish bead. So now we can put some more beads. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a delica, and an 11-0, and I'm exiting the fire polish. I'm going to sew through the next fire polish. So just like that. Let's do that again. 11-0, delica, 11-0. I'm going to sew through the next fire polish. Just kind of push them over a little bit. We're making the sort of the cup for our stone now. Okay, I'm going to do that 2 more times. Last 11-0, delica, 11-0. I'm going to sew through the next fire polish. Like that. So that's completing the round. So just like that. And I'm going to advance directly through the next 11-0, delica, 11-0. Okay, at this point you can place your stone in if you like, or you can wait a little bit. I'll just put it there just so you get an idea of where we're going. So here we're exiting the 11-0, delica, 11-0 right here. I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s, and I'm going to sew through the next 11-0, delica, 11-0. Do that again, 3 15-0s, exiting the 11-0, delica, 11-0. So this 11-0 right here, just going to sew through that next group, 11-0, delica, 11-0, like that. Your stone isn't going to stay right now. Well, it'll just, if it falls out or if you have to hold it, but it will stay once we go around a couple times. All right, so do that 2 more times. Last group of 3 15-0s through the next 11-0, delica, 11-0. Then a little pull. And then I'm going to advance my needle directly through the next 3 15-0s. So those dark blue ones that I put on right there. So now you're exiting the 3 15-0s that you started with. We're going to move on. I just took my stone out just because, the dark beads and the dark stone. So this is what it's going to look like, with your 15-0s on. So now I'm going to pop my stone in. I'm exiting the 3 15-0s. Right here. I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s again, only I'm going to do a contrasting color. I'm doing the gold here. And I'm going to sew, just skip over the 11-0, delica, 11-0, and sew through the next 3 15-0s that you put on in the previous row. So just like that. Do that again, 3 15-0s. I'm going to sew through the next 3 15-0s, and don't worry about it if your stone pops out. Just kind of pushed it, it came out. There we go. Get it back in, and you'll straighten it out as you go along. So you can do that 2 more times. The last 3 15-0s, exiting these 3, the darker blue 3 15-0s, going to sew through that last group of the blue 15-0s. Give that a little pull, like that. That's what we have. Now I'm going to advance my needle. Actually, I'm going to go through the next 3 15-0s. I just want to complete my circle a little bit. And the next 3 15-0s. So the 3 gold and then the 3 blue. And then up through the first gold one of that group of 3. So you'll be exiting right there. I'm going to reinforce and make kind of a little picot out of the gold bead. So I'm exiting this one. I'm going to skip the middle one. I'm going to sew through the next gold one and the next 3 blue 15-0s. So hold it with your thumb and then give it a pull and then just pop it over like so. Hold it with your thumb. And you see how that makes a little picot? It's kind of hard to see, and it tightens things up. So now I'm exiting the blue 15-0s. I'm going to sew through the first of the gold, like that. I'm going to skip the middle one, sew through the next gold one and the next 3 blue 15-0s. Give that a pull. I'm going to pop this guy over this way, put my thumb on it, give it a little pull, and this is what it looks like. So you're going to do that 2 more times. Coming down to my last little picot I'm going to make, so I'm exiting this gold one. I'm going to skip the middle. I'm going to sew through the last one, gold one, and the 3 blue 15-0s. Make sure you pop that up and give it a little push over. Come on, you. There we go. Just put your thumb on it. Okay, this is what we have so far. So we're exiting the blue 15-0s right here. I'm just going to advance my needle right down through these, the 11-0 Delica 11-0 and this fire polish bead right here. Now if you had needed to reinforce, you could have reinforced around, but I think by making the picots, it really reinforces it, makes everything nice and tight. So we're exiting the fire polish bead. So exiting the fire polish bead. So I've picked up a 2mm round bead, the wide duo and a 2mm round, and I'm going to sew through the next fire polish. I'm just going to place it like so. Do that again. We're exiting the fire polish. I'm going to pick up the 2mm round, the wide duo, and the 2mm round, and I'm going to sew through the next fire polish. So just like that, you can do that 2 more times. Okay, last 2mm round, wide duo, 2mm round. I'm going to sew through that last fire polish bead. So this is what it looks like so far. So now I'm just going to advance my needle through the next 2mm round. You know, I just want to end the circle again. So the 2mm round, the wide duo, the 2mm round, let's keep going a little bit, the fire polish, the next 2mm round, next 2mm round, whoops, the wide duo, and the 2mm round after wide duo, like that. So that's where you'll be exiting. We're exiting the 2mm round on the side of the wide duo here. I'm going to pick up 4 11-0s and I'm going to sew through the next 2mm round. So these 4 11-0s are going to be sitting like on top of the fire polish bead, like that. And then I'm going to advance my needle through the wide and the next 2mm, like so. And I'm going to add 4 of my 11-0s. So let's pick those up. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to sew through the next 2mm. Oops. There we go. Just like that. Now if you want to do 3 here, you can do 3. It just depends on what's going to fit. I think I tried 3, but I really like the way 4 looks. I just kind of popped the middle ones up a little bit, and I kind of like that look. But whatever fits there, you know, is going to work. So through the wide and the next 2mm, like so. You can do that 2 more times. Last group of 4 11-0s through the, exiting this 2mm. I'm going to get through the next one. It's just the angle here that is difficult, and it's a shiny bead, so it's slippery. So here we go. Got my last 4 on, and I'm going to advance through the wide duo just like so. Okay, exiting the bottom hold of the wide duo, I'm going to sew through the top hole just like that. This is what we have so far. Okay, we're exiting the top hole of the wide duo, I'm going to turn my piece on the back. So we're going to do a little structure now. You know I love my structure. And also, it's going to look pretty. So I'm exiting the top hole of a wibe. I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and a bugle. And I'm going to sew through the 4 15-0s on the back. Just like that. And then I'm going to pick up a bugle bead and an 11-0. Exiting the 4 15-0s, I'm going to sew through the next wibe duo, like that. Just going to repeat this all the way around. 11-0 bugle bead through the 4 15-0s on the back. Bugle bead 11-0 through the wibe. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Last bugle bead 11-0 through the top hole of that wibe duo, and this is what the back looks like so far. We're going to come back to this, but let's turn it down to the front. So we're exiting the top hole of the wibe duo. Let's make the front pretty. So we're going to pick up an 11-0 and a bugle bead, and we're going to sew through the 3 navy colored 15-0s on the front, like that. Then we're going to pick up, just looking at my design, okay, we're going to pick up a bugle bead and an 11-0, and we're going to sew through the top hole of the next wibe duo. So we're essentially doing the same thing on this side that we did on the other side. And we're going to pick up an 11-0 and a bugle through the 3 blue guys. We're going to do one more little bit on the back. So we're exiting, so I've just turned it over right here on the back, exiting the wibe duo. I'm going to sew down through the 11-0 and the bugle bead. I'm going to sew across through these 4, like that, the 4 15-0s. Just make sure I'm caught here. There we go. And up this bugle bead and I'm not sure, and possibly and the 11-0. Let's go up that 11-0 first, and let me just see. Okay, we don't want to go up the 11-0. You just want to be exiting the bugle. So we came out of here. Sorry about that. Went through the 11-0 bugle bead through these 4 15-0s, up the bugle bead. So we're going to keep it right there, and we're going to pick up 3 15-0s, and we're going to sew through the next bugle bead. So we're just adding a little more on the back like this, and then we're going to advance our needle through the next 4 15-0s. So we're just going to repeat this all the way around. Like that. Through the bugle. 3 15-0s. Through the bugle. Just popping those in the back, just like that. So you're just going to repeat that all the way around. I just put on my last 3 15-0s here. I came down the bugle and out the 4 15-0s. I'm going to advance right up through the bugle bead right there, and then right through the wibe duo, the top hole of that wibe duo. So the back is going to look like this, and here's the front, and I'm exiting that wibe duo at the top there. That's going to be the top of our earring. Let's put an ear wire on. So I'm exiting the top hole of a wibe duo, so it's going to be the top of my earring, just like this. So you can add a thread here. I'm using the thread that I have left. However, you know, when you tie off the thread and then add a new thread, if some reason, you know, the thread breaks, you know, the earring breaks at the ear wire, you can always replace it. So I always recommend that, but just for video purposes, we're exiting here. The swipe duo, I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s, the 2 millimeter round. I'm coming through an ear wire, 2 millimeter round and 3 15-0s. I'm going to sew through the other side of the swipe duo. You want to make sure that that ring on the ear wire is right in between the 3 millimeter rounds and not on the thread. And then you're just going to reinforce this. Reinforced all the way around, and now I'm going to make a little picot out of the sides because that seems to be what I love doing these days. I love making these little picots. So I'm just going to, I'm exiting the wide duo after reinforcing. I'm going to sew through that first 15-0. I'm going to skip the next one and sew through all the beads through here. So through the next 15-0, the 2 millimeter, the earring, the ring on the earring, and the next 3 millimeter, and I'm just going to help that little piece, that little middle 15-0 pop up like I did, you know, like we've been doing. Give it a little pull, and it just sticks it out a little bit, and it kind of locks it in place. That's why I like doing this. Exiting the 2 millimeter round, I'm going to sew through the next 15-0. I'm going to skip the middle one and sew through the following one, and the wipe duo. If you need to change your needle size, you could do that. And let me see, where's my 15-0? So I'm going to take that middle one and I'm just going to poke it out a little bit. Just hold it with your thumb and give it a little pull. There we go. So now it kind of picoted a little bit. You're exiting the wipe duo. At this point, I would sew my thread in, and you could just go through the back and sew through some of the beads, you know, and make some half-hitch knots. And there's our earring. Okay, we're all done, and this is what's left of my pile. So these were the extras, and it still always amazes me that we can take a little pile of beads and we could just get so creative with them. So here's the front of the earring. Here's the back. You're going to look beautiful coming and going, and you're going to glow when the sun hits it. So, so pretty. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put a link in the description box below the video to the Beading School website. I'll also put a link to the Academy box page to see what you think. Take a look at it. All right, so take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.